Hi, I'm Sheila Hamilton with Beyond Well, and I'm so happy today to be talking about moving beyond the isolation and loneliness that so many of us have felt because of COVID-19. And I have such an incredible group of friends and mental health experts with me today. Doyle Smith is the Executive Director of Dual Diagnosis Anonymous. Hello, Doyle. It's so good to
Hi,
see you.
Sheila. Glad to be
Angel
here.
Prater, Executive Director of Folk Time and an international leader in intentional peer support networking. Hello, Angel.
Hi.
And Michael Sorensen, the Business Development Director at Cedar Hills Hospital. Hi, Michael. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and I want to especially thank Cedar Hills for just being a community support right now and supporting us today as we have this discussion about ways that we can actually move beyond this sort of problem mindset into a more collaborative and creative mode. I want to talk with you, Angel, because I have spoken with you many times before about intentional peer support. And I think it provides such a great framework for people who are looking for a way to think about being in this kind of crisis mode and how they actually support themselves during it. Why is it so helpful?
Well, peer support brings a unique perspective to the table. And if we're just looking at it through the lens of peer support, we can get stuck there. If we look at this through the lens of human support. So intentional peer support was really developed by Sherry Mead with the notion of social justice, social change, and really how to be with people differently. And often in our society, we're reactive out of fear. And so if we're able to go inward and be mindful of our part in how we're reacting, we can shift how we are with people rather than what we're doing to or for people. So intentional peer support has 3 principles and 4 tasks that are intentionally brought into a way of thinking differently and being differently. And those 3 principles begin kind of like the polish on a dance floor. If you're looking at the dance floor as the principles, you're going from a place of helper to learner, learning with people. That's how help really unfolds. And we're coming from a place of individual now to really focusing on the relationship rather just than the individuals. So individual to relationship. And lastly, going from fear, which is a reactive pattern, and really honoring, not to negate fear, but to honor that it's there and to move through fear. We want to go from fear to hope and possibilities. And then the tasks are kind of the dance steps. So we need to be aware of when we're connecting, when we're disconnecting, how to reconnect. We're not taught how to do those things when we're taught how to listen, right? We're not taught to go inward. And then the second task is worldview, and that's to honor multiple truths and try to explore meaning. How people see the world is really brought from where they are, from the moment they were born to where they are today, has really shaped how they interact and see the world. And we often get stuck on the surface and make a lot of interpretations and think we know what people are seeing or experiencing.
Yeah.
And then third is the mutuality, and that's not to be confused with equality. It does not mean equal. What it means is we can be mutually engaged in this relationship and move towards what we want to create together, rather than me do to you, and we're in these dynamics of power and structure, etc. So just really honoring that we can mutually negotiate what we want to get, how we want to be in this relationship together, and intentionally exploring how we see ourselves in this relationship. And then lastly is moving towards. Often our system is, or our world, we're focusing on what we don't want and all the things we want to stop. I don't want to use again. I don't want to relapse. I don't want to, I don't want to be isolated. But how do we take and shift to start looking at what is it that we can create? What do we really want without using the words, I don't want, but I want, I will create. So the 3 principles and the 4 tasks really allow for us to go inward as individuals and be aware of our part in all these dynamics and check ourselves and our bias, our assumptions, and our training, our professional training, and how that gets in the way of listening differently.
That was such a fantastic, just really great summary of it, Angel. And Doyle, I'm